I'ma say it, and some of y'all gonna be real offended by me saying it, but the truth is this: some of y'all got these out of control ratchet ass daughters because they grew up watching their mama be ratchet 25/8. Little sis ain't nothing but a product of her environment, because you never gave her nothing to look up to. All she ever seen was you twerking, tweaking, and talking crazy on a constant basis. So what did you really think she was gonna grow into? It's supposed to be a school night, but you got the music blasted at 11 p.m. on a Monday, drinking Don Julio. By Tuesday, you popping perks. By Wednesday, you switching dudes, and by Thursday, you're calling to check your name on the Section 8 waiting list. Then you thought it was cool for your house to be the kicking spot for all the dudes on the block. Now everybody's running in and out your shit like it's a Walmart supercenter. So please, make it make sense. Because in that little girl's eyes, all this shit is now normal to her. You thought you was doing the right thing by keep sending those kids in the room just because you wanted to kick it, not knowing that kids are curious and they're throwing a whole motherfucking party in that room because mama's not paying attention. And before you know it, Lil Naya is now grown, getting passed around like a hotcake because her mom never taught her no self-respect. She didn't see no better, so she couldn't do no better. And now she's busy running the streets with a bottle of Belvedere in her purse. And then you're wondering what's the problem. Baby, it was you.
Taking women out to eat, giving them free meals? What part of the game is that? You taking her to Red Lobster with the cheddar biscuits. The fam ain't eating cheddar biscuits, but this random broad is eating cheddar biscuits.
I know the game. Your granddaddy knows the game.
Game, recognized game, and you looking kinda unfamiliar right now. I can't... Where's Granddad? Can I help you, sir?
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail. More importantly, you saw the clips. This is, how Ratchet became normal. Shout out to the young lady that was talking about it. For all you adults who can't figure out why you as wild as you are, and for all you kids, you riding down the path of ratchetry. This is how it happened. Your parents, for the most part, either came from good families that had rules and structure, and they wanted to be the wild child, and they played the, when I have kids, I'm never going to be like that. So when it came to raising you, they did a bunch of dumb shit because they wanted to show the family and their friends, and more importantly themselves, you could do all this dumb shit and the kid could turn out okay. Look at me. You didn't turn out okay though. So a lot of y'all, let me pause. No. A lot of y'all don't know the origin story. So this is what I mean. A lot of y'all don't know that, okay, if people grew up around alcoholics, normally they didn't drink, or they didn't drink like alcoholics. I know y'all think they did, but they didn't. You get what I'm saying? Normally the kids that actually became drinkers was the kids whose parents was giving them alcohol before they, 10, 11, 12. That's who became drinkers. The kids who be into drugs, those are the kids whose parents were giving them drugs at an early age. Which really, for me being, born in 79, we still had the parties and parents partying and all that other stuff, and the drug use and all that other stuff. But, I didn't see, people actually actively giving kids drugs until the late 90s, early 2000s, because because they tried to normalize it, because they wanted to do it. We used to call people dope fiends. I still call people dope fiends because they do dope fiend stuff. The alcoholics back in the day, who, the winos, the lushes, they'll tell you don't drink. The people who was on drugs, they'll tell you don't do it. The people who was on it, right? People grew up with their parents on stuff, doing stuff. So a lot of these other kids thought it was cool because they wanted to go out and parties, and their parents, family members like, nah, you can't do this, you can't do that. And they just wanted to do whatever they wanted to do. So same thing with the people who are overly sexual and hypersexual. The kid, the family's like, hey, don't be jumping out and getting all these relationships and having sex. And the minute they jumped off the porch, they wanted to do everything, right? So now, and I'm telling you this because I'm a person who grew up in a household that had, parties when I was younger, parties, drug use, physical abuse and all that. For me and people like me, it turns you away from it. Like, nah, Getting high don't look cute. Getting drunk don't look cute. Having everybody over your house don't look cute. You know what I'm saying? And plus, being raised by grandparents, it's like they had a different mo. But for all of the parents who are like that, and the reason I can say that is because, I have one of my parents who's like that. Hey, won't you smoke this? Man, if you don't get the fuck out of my face, oh, I was just trying to test you. You coke head, you weed head. Like, don't play that you trying to test me. And that's a true story with when I was like 15, 16, something like that. And a lot of all the bad behavior came from that, you know. Then, some people got into the hustler thing because some kids, families didn't. A lot of kids when I grew up, families didn't have a lot of money. So some of them, if they couldn't get a job, which usually they couldn't because this was early teens, right? Because I don't know if y'all noticed, like in the early '90s, paper routes and stuff. Kids used to do stuff in the '80s like paper routes to make money. By the '90s, adults was taking the paper routes, so kids wasn't making money like that as kids. Paper routes, helping cut grass, stuff like that. All of that stuff started just getting away. So that's part of what had younger people dealing drugs to get money. That's part of that. Because what did you do to get money before you were 16? They took away a lot of that stuff. So you have the people who are quote unquote hustlers, aka drug dealers. you know, they were doing that to make money when they was in school because they wanted things. Their parents couldn't afford things, right? And then you had some of them who parents could afford it and they just thought it was cool. So a lot of this stuff that you see now as young adults and adults is you're the child of somebody who thought doing wild stuff and criminal stuff was cool. And then they didn't stop because it was always cool until something happened. Something made them stop. But you grow up in a household, people drinking all the time, people smoking all the time, people kicking it all the time, people cussing up a storm and talking to people crazy all the time. Now you grow up in that house and, you know, now that your parents are older and they trying to fake like they saved, and I'm turning over a new leaf, I'm a good person now. All of that bull. You, with their turning away from, which was a long phase for them. Ironically, it shows you how bad of a parent they was because they couldn't not do it in front of you, right? Even if they did it, that became your norm. So now you think that's normal, and now when you're dealing out in public with people are looking, people who are not like that look at you crazy. Like I ain't with that, because y'all think it's normal. Thus, she was talking about the drinking, the pill popping, you know, the hypersexuality, to the coven of ratchets. You know what I'm saying? It's normal now, and even now, what you see, how can I say this? Use an example of what I'm saying. When K Michelle was on Cam Newton talking about black men need to bleed with black women while she with white men and all that. That's hilarious. It's a hypocrisy, but that's not the point. The point is she said she came from a good family. She decided to go left. You get what I'm saying? She decided to go left, and now she's talking all of this stuff 40 some odd years later. This is what actually went on. And see, now these people, and I hope y'all get what I'm about to say, because if you wonder why they can't turn the ratchet off, like some of the older people, is because they're trying to get attention now because they know that they out of pocket. So that's why it's all the loud shit, all the crazy hairstyles. When you're a certain age, all of you know, the attention seeking things, right? Look at me, look at me, look at me. Because people got tired of them being ratchet. Like you too old to not have no common damn sense. So now they're just out here doing the most for attention. That's why you seeing, you know, people being hypersexual and, you know, in super tricks. Let's just say that. And, that's part of And social media helps it out because let's just be honest, people who are quote unquote ratchet seem to be more entertaining, but they're out of their damn mind. So now the kids have come like that. The kids and who are adults now they're like that and they can't cut it off. They're super emotional, hypersexual, just constantly constantly gravitating to crazy shit. You know, to the point where people got to look at them like and people go, why you shouldn't judge people, and it's like it's not really judging. Sometimes what it is nobody told you that it's not appropriate to be in public certain ways, and now people got to look at you sideways because you 25, 30, 35, 40 out here acting a goddamn fool, out here looking like a damn fool, and but it's normal to you. And this is the part of when people talk about relationships and getting in good relationships and trying to find peace and trying to get away from the toxic shit and the internal struggle, because ratchet is normal. It's normal. And now you gotta basically detox from it, and wean yourself off of it, and normal seems boring. And now it's not good enough, and this is why you see adults who are basically sabotaging their life because they can't do normal, they can't do peaceful. There's got to be something. Thus the backdrop for the Real Housewives shows and Love and Hip Hop, you normally see it. Kids who grew up the right way, who had a good family, who just had to go left, and now you're seeing their kids go left. You get what I'm saying? And on the flip side, you're also seeing some of their kids go, I don't want to be nothing like your ass because this is stupid, you know. Because usually, ratchet behavior relegated you to poverty. So what made it worse now was people basically got rich being out of their damn minds, and now people thought, okay, this will work for me, and now you see people emulating it, and it don't work for them, but they never stop the behavior. So, this is what makes it normal. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Like, share, subscribe. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.